Hello friends. My name is Mrs. Randall and today we are going to learn about character, setting, and plot. First, let's talk about who the characters are in a story. The characters are the people, animals, or creatures in the story that can think, act, or feel. Now, let's talk about the setting. The setting is when and where the story takes place. For example, the story here is taking place outside in my neighborhood in the afternoon. Now let's discuss the plot. The plot is a sequence of important events that happen in the story from beginning, middle, and end. Now, let's see if you remembered what we talked about. I'm going to read a story and at the end of the story, I want you to see if you can identify and tell the character, setting, and plot in the story. Jordan and Nick were happy because it was the day of their Boy Scouts' big camping trip. The boys were excited and ready to have fun in the woods with their troop leader, Mr. Randall. Jordan was so excited about camping in the woods, so he was the first to arrive while Nick came a little later. When Nick arrived, he saw Jordan making a campfire for dinner. Nick needed to get settled in, so Mr. Randall gave Nick directions on how to find their bunking area. Nick began his hike through the woods when suddenly he heard a strange noise. Nick was frightened because his big brother told him so many scary stories about camping, so he stopped to look at his map again when he heard the noise again. Nick took off running as fast as he could through the woods. Nick took a step back when he realized what the noise was. It was an old tree falling. When Nick got back to the campsite, Jordan was napping in the tent. Mr. Randall was waiting up for him. Nick told him all about his adventure through the woods. Mr. Randall and Nick had a great laugh. He couldn't wait to tell Jordan all about it in the morning. Now, let's see if you are able to identify and name the characters in the story. I'll give you a moment to think about it. Great job! You guessed it right. We now know that the characters are the people, animals, or creatures in the story, so the characters in this story are Nick, Jordan, and Mr. Randall. Now, take a moment and think about the setting. Awesome! We now know that the setting is when and where the story takes place, so the setting is at a campsite in the woods at night. Now, take a moment to think about the plot. We know that the plot are the major events in the story from beginning, middle, and end. In the beginning of the story, we meet the characters and find out the setting. In the middle of the story, we find out the problem, and in the end of the story, the problem is solved. What happened in the beginning of this story? In the beginning of the story, we met two boys named Nick and Jordan who were excited about their first camping trip in the woods with their scout leader, Mr. Randall. In the middle of the story, we find out the problem. Nick is hiking in the woods alone when he hears a weird noise that frightened him. In the end, the problem was solved when Nick discovers that it was just a tree falling. He had a great laugh about the incident with his scout leader, Mr. Randall. Great job, my friends. Today we learned about the characters, setting, and plot. We learned the characters are the people, animals, or creatures in the story that think, act, or feel. Next we learned the setting in the story is when and where the story takes place, and last, we learned the plot is the major events in the story from beginning, middle, and end. Goodbye, my friends. I hope to see you again soon. Please subscribe to my channel below for more instructional videos and remember to keep learning and growing.